It's global. We're global. We're live global, all across the world.
All across the world.
Thanks for tuning in to Delicious Real Estate, Barry the Broker. I'm Joe Peffer, broker, owner of Delicious Real Estate. Today we are back at Lineage Brewing in South Clintonville. You been here?
I've never been here, no.
How's your beer?
It's very good. Very good. I got the IPA.
Yeah.
Not the American IPA, just the regular IPA. Space Shuttle.
Right, that's kind of their thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Very good. I haven't met an IPA I didn't like, though.
I'm the same way.
It's never been a better time to be alive if you like it.
Amen. Amen to that. I'm a big fan. Yeah, they do a good job with it.
Yeah. It's very nice.
Way behind us, you see the kettle maybe in the background. I would like to have the brewing equipment in the background. Makes it look like we really are in a brewery, not just kidding around.
That's right. Right. It's not like a green screen behind us.
Right. Oh, and I'm remiss. This is Christopher Kania.
Hello, everybody.
Christopher is a owner of a house painting company called Allterior Painting. And today, that's what we're talking about. The topic is paint. Now, there's so few things I think that you can do to a house that make as big an impact as painting a house.
That's true. That's true.
I think that short of spending a ton of money on a whole new kitchen, maybe, painting is probably the number one thing, inside or outside.
Yeah.
You can landscape the heck out of your house, but the thing that's going to really give it the curb appeal is a paint job.
That's right. What keeps us so busy.
And are you busy?
I'm very busy. Very busy.
I've noticed that. You're always weeks and weeks out.
At least. It's good. I like being busy.
Busy is good, yeah. I can't imagine not being busy.
I was not busy for a while, about 10 years ago, and that was not good.
Exactly.
A lot of people were not busy at that time.
Right, yeah. 10 years ago, that was me too, probably. Right when I opened Delicious Real Estate.
Yeah. I was about my second or third year in myself. Very nervous.
and so we're at Lineage, which is, as I mentioned, in South Clintonville, 43202.
Yep.
And this is an area that you also live in, right?
Yes, I'm in this hood.
You've been here some time.
About 10 years, probably.
Yeah?
Very nice. I like it. They're making a lot of improvements.
What kind of changes have you seen in those 10 years?
Just an improvement on High Street and Indian Old, for the most part. A little bit more upscale restaurants and bars. When I moved here, I don't think Clintonville was dry at this time. Is that right?
I don't think that's right.
Oh, it isn't? I thought I used to go to that Kroger and it was...
Well, that Kroger was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, why is that?
I don't know.
Okay. But anyway, this is one of the improvements. Nice little bars like this.
Right.
The Cat's Tavern.
Good.
So, those kinds of improvements.
And you did something that I often suggest to first-time homebuyers, especially. You went out and instead of buying a single-family home, you bought a duplex.
Duplex, yep.
What were you thinking, and how's that worked out for you?
Well, the original plan was that was going to be the beginning of my housing empire.
Sure.
It kind of stalled as soon as it started, and I'm still at the same place. But the thought there is I wasn't making a lot of money at the time, and I liked the idea of having someone pay the lion's share of the mortgage, which is pretty much how it's worked out so far.
Yeah, it's a pretty good thing, huh?
It is. And actually in my area, it's worked doubly well in that I've had somebody paying the lion's share of the mortgage, and in the last 10 years, the property values in that area have gone up quite a lot. So, getting it at both ends.
Yeah, they really have. When I talk about like the 4222 South Clintonville, what sort of geography do you picture?
What sort of geography?
Yeah. Like in my mind, it's North Broadway to Arcadia,
Oh,
the river to the tracks, I guess.
yeah, yeah. That's about the same square I'm thinking of too. Yeah.
The 4202 actually does extend into North Campus,
Right.
but I just think of it as Clinton. And I've got some numbers that just so happen.
Oh. Please share.
What's happened last year in the 4202, and just in those parameters that I talked about. So 144 total homes sold in South Clintonville. Again, we're talking about south of Broadway, but not North Campus. To Arcadia, except for Glen Echo. I always feel like Glen Echo should be part of Clintonville, so I'm including that. So it's 144 homes sold. The two most expensive homes, as you may imagine, were in Walhalla. Those are both around 510. So if you take those out, you take out the bottom two, one of which was like a rear home, so it sold for like $35,000. That was a weird thing. I think it was a Midgard. So you got 140 homes then. And those 140 homes sold for an average of $266,678. How's that strike?
That strikes me. Well, that's more than I would have thought.
Right, it always is, right?
Yeah.
It always is in Clintonville. So 266. And the average home we're talking about is about 1,400 square feet. And the average price per square foot then was just about $195.
Okay.
And the average list price to sale price, the price that the house is listed for compared to the price that it sells for, the average is 100%.
They were selling for
100% of list price, on average.
well, you know, some of them didn't sell for the list price. I mean, some of them must have sold for more than the list price.
Indeed, indeed. In fact, the average price per square foot is about 12 cents higher than the average list price per square foot. So, exactly, a lot of the homes selling over list price. And how long does it take the South Clintonville homes to sell? Not long. We got about, let's see, about 26 of them sold in 3 days with us. That's about 18%. We've got 83 homes that sold in 6 days with us. And so we got about 62% that sold in a week with us. So, but the average days on market was 16.
You know, that all sounds great, but you know, I'm somewhat of a pessimist, and it's reminding me of the numbers just before that time when we were not very busy at all.
Right, yes.
Things were great, and then all of a sudden they were not great.
I think there's a lot of the same signs of the bubble lurking. But a lot of the economic factors aren't there. But can Clintonville sustain this sort of just hand over fist increase in appreciation every year? It's hard to believe.
Well, it is, especially for homes with, 100-year-old homes with plaster walls and no closet space.
Right.
You know, it's insane that they produce a lot. I think quite a compliment to the populace that tends to live there. I think they tend to be a little bit more neighborly and whatnot. Like I do a lot of work out in the outer suburbs where you just don't see your neighbors.
Right.
Even in the middle of summer, because everybody's inside in their air conditioning and their 96, inch TVs.
But not in the front porches like they are in Clinton.
Right. And I think.
But you also do a lot of work in Clinton.
I do a lot of working for as well.
You've been known to hit the historic neighborhoods.
I have, yes.
Big houses.
I've done big. I've done small.
All right. So you said about 10 years now.
10. I've been saying 10 for probably the last 3 years, so it's probably been more like 13 years. But yeah.
All right. So where do most of your clients come from?
These days it's word of mouth. When we had that big slowdown that made you and I very nervous 10 years ago, I started advertising with Angie's List, and that just filled my work pipeline with work. That really was really a wonderful thing for me at that time. And now they've rejiggered their whole operation, and I've decided not to advertise with them anymore or advertise at all. Because I have worked up such a client base now that most of my work is coming word of mouth, which is great.
Right, that's the way to be. If you can do it, that's the way to be. Because advertising costs money.
It does cost money. It was never really a big part of my expenses, except for when I was with Angie's. Angie's was expensive.
It's not cheap,
No, but nonetheless, if any bit you can save,
Dave,
yeah,
right. It's your bottom line.
that's right.
All right. So these days, what is it that you're getting called to paint?
Pretty much everything. You know, when we discussed the topics that we'd be covering, one of the things you mentioned was which rooms people tend to want painted.
Sure.
And I had to sit back and think about it because I get called on all of them. I've done them all. And for people who are staying in their homes, there's no real regular room that they're calling me on. Like I've done a lot of bedrooms, a lot of living rooms, and so forth. If they're selling the house, it tends to be your kitchens and baths. But if they're staying there, a lot of times I'm called in to do living rooms and so forth. So that's what I'm doing a lot of now.
And I'm sure people, well, this is my imagination because this is how it would happen in my house. People have you come in and you paint a room and they're like, damn it, that looks good. Do you think you could paint this other room too?
Yeah.
Does it happen a lot?
Yes. And it tends to, that room tends to make the rest of the rooms look a little more shabby. So yes.
Right, and then does that mess with your schedule?
It can. You know, if I can't do it at that time, I will come back and do it. And most of the clients are understanding.
Good. So I think painting is one of those things that people think, well, I can paint, I'll do it myself. What's the advantage of hiring a pro like yourself?
Well, it's true. Almost anybody can paint. Not everybody can paint well. And there are a lot of places I've been in where you can tell if it's been an amateur or not. Or you hope it was an amateur that did it.
Sure.
And you're not following a professional who left it in that kind of shape. But the advantages of hiring a pro are you don't have to deal with all the equipment that a pro has. The job should look real nice when it's finished.
Right.
A lot of people don't like to paint.
No, and especially once you get above like 8 feet.
Yeah.
It's really
Anything above a 6-foot step ladder is usually unnerving, and sometimes even a 6-foot step ladder can be unnerving to some folks.
I think it's kind of like moving, right? I mean, you reach a certain station in life where you think, well, gosh, you know what? I deserve to have this done right and not to kill myself doing it.
Right.
And you know, if you paint something or if I paint something, I mean, to the untrained eye, it'll be so obvious who painted what.
Right.
And if you're going to paint something, you might as well do it right?
Right.
I mean, it's just there's so much satisfaction to take from that.
Yes. But that being said, you shouldn't expect perfection
Right.
by hiring somebody, because painting is an imperfect science.
It is. Why is that?
Well, it drives me nuts because I'm looking for perfection myself.
Sure.
And once a place has been painted a number of times, the roller that you use to apply the paint, it builds up a bit of what painters call an orange peel, which if you look really close to the surface of the wall are those little bumps. And there's like, bumps and valleys.
Right. Orange peel is exactly what it is.
It does look like the peel of an orange. So then you put in...
Which from a distance is very smooth.
Oh, yeah.
But when you get it close to it...
See, I think this is part of the problem is people, when they hire a painter, they think, oh, it's going to look like television, It's going to look like... But that's a TV thing. It's not for real. It's all shot from like 15 feet away.
Even as a professional painter, you are at the mercy of the physical wall.
Of the physical wall. Correct. So, you decide to hang a picture here, and so you drill the nail in it. Well, you don't want the picture there anymore. You want it over here now. So we pull that nail and we have to fill it. Well, when I fill that nail hole, it also fills in some of those nooks and crannies of the orange peel and flattens it out. Then when I sand it,
now you got a spot
smooth.
there.
Now you got a spot there that's smooth. So then when you paint it, the color will be the same, and all of that, the sheen even is the same, but you will be able to, in certain light, be able to see that spot. So that is the frustration of painting. Now the lines at the ceiling should be nice and straight and look good. The lines at the base should look real sharp. But you're at the mercy of the wall. And
I can't tell you. I mean, obviously, I see a lot of houses, right?
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I see homes that probably were painted to put the house on the market, and they're painted poorly and sloppily. And is it better than what was there? I don't know because I don't know what was there, but I know it's not great, right?
Right.
When you're running under the trim and you're running the wall color onto the ceiling color onto the wall,
Yep.
and you didn't get this spot over here, and just lazy. You didn't pull out the stove and paint behind it, that kind of thing. I hate that.
Yes.
What differences do you see between people who are putting their home in the market and they want you to paint, as opposed to people who they live there and they're going to continue living there and they want you to come in and paint? Do those people who are going to continue living there, are they more bold with their choices?
Yes. A lot of times I've had people ask me when they've chosen a color, do you think that I will still be able to sell the house in 5 years or whatever with this color? And I always tell them that
if you're in South Clintonville,
yeah, no problem. For more than asking price, probably. I always tell them, well, we're painting this for you, and if you're not thinking about moving for 5 years, I would put that decision off for 5 years. I try to dissuade them from painting it the color for the next owner, in other words, especially if they know.
It's a long time to live in a house and not be perfectly content with the wall color.
That's right. And you're calling me in to make it nice for you. And then if you want to have it painted in 5 years, then paint it again in 5 years. And then I tell people, follow your realtor. The realtor will tell you if you need to repaint this or not.
And so when people are putting the house on the market, is it a lot more neutral?
Oh yeah. Renter's beige, I call it.
Yeah. Are you seeing a lot of grays?
No, beige.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More beige than gray?
Yeah, I think so.
I think gray's a flip color, and beige is I live here, but I'm going to sell my house color.
Right. Yeah.
And you're painting over something brighter or bolder.
Yeah.
And what was I going to say about that? Okay.
Well, some other things that you can expect from a professional. These are all my opinions now.
All right.
Proper attire.
What does that mean?
they should be wearing painter white.
Painter white.
Right. I don't understand anybody who would get in this business and wouldn't take advantage of the fact that we have a uniform to wear.
Right.
You don't have to think about it every day. You get up and put on the same thing. It's great.
And you get paint on it?
Oh yeah.
And it's okay?
Yeah.
It just adds to your credibility, really.
It does. It does. I would not trust a painter who came in what I'm wearing today. This is on-camera painter. This is not off-camera painter.
Right.
Common courtesy, of course. When the day is done, they should leave the workspace relatively wrapped up. You know, of course, you can work that out with them. Be clear about what you want done and how it should be done, when it should be done, when you expect it done, and the quality of the materials to be used. A lot of times I follow other painters where they will use an inferior product because it was never discussed. So if you hire a painter and you say, I want it this color, and then leave it at that, they will just go and buy the cheapest product out there. And then you're left with an inferior paint.
Right.
Because most people are just thinking color. They don't think quality.
Right.
You know, which,
and is there always a conversation about finish?
well, there should be.
Should be, yeah.
I mean, I've been on...
What do you see the most?
For living areas like your bedrooms, your living rooms, your hallways, an eggshell is what most people go for. In your wetter areas, the bathroom and the kitchen, a lot of people go for a semi-gloss, but now there are really higher quality paints that are wipe-downable, washable in the lower sheens that are nice for wet areas. If you don't like that shininess of the semi-gloss.
Right.
You of course want to do some due diligence on the company that you hire, and like today's the best day to be alive if you like hops, no better time to be alive to be able to research companies that you hire and have into your home. I mean, you know, it's you're trusting them with a lot, because a lot of times I am in homes and nobody is there. That's a little weird.
I bet that can be a little bit, yeah.
I mean, I don't think about it until I hire somebody to be in my house. And when I'm not there, then I'm like, oh, that does take a little bit of trust.
Right, I mean, it's like realtors are so aware of open houses, right?
Right.
You know, I have an open house, and you know, there's 30 people in the house, and I can't be everywhere at once. I don't know what's going on. And just the idea of strangers being in the house, you can't vet those people.
Right.
And so, right.
Well, and I've heard many stories that people just go there and looky-loo, right?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
I actually don't believe in open houses, but that's another show.
All right. And then, of course, anything that you can do to help your painter along is appreciated. And it just gets them in and out quicker and in and out of your life and finishes up your place faster.
We'll talk about those things. What can people do to help the painter?
Declutter the room. That is the big thing. And by that, take this in the spirit it's intended. Pick up any of the clutter. And this can go so far as even, especially maybe, lamps. Unplug them, take them out of the room. Most painters don't need your lighting to do the work that they're going to do. I tend to not insist that the big stuff be moved. I have slides and experience moving stuff, so I tend to move the big stuff myself.
The couches.
The couches.
The entertainment center?
Yes.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from computers and TVs. Those make me a little nervous because they can go south so fast.
Right. So has anybody ever, kind of going back to what we were talking about 10 minutes ago?
Yeah. I know, I'm all over.
People have said, has anybody ever said to you, well, what do you think about this color?
Oh, gosh.
And you have said, oh, no, that will not look good on the wall. And then you've changed people's minds.
Never happened. No, I expressed from the very beginning I have no opinion about color. Because I really don't. Well, no, that's not true. I do have an opinion, but it's my opinion.
It's the opinion you keep to yourself.
It's an opinion I keep to myself.
Because your job is to paint.
Because my job is just to put it on the wall. Your job is to pick out the one that goes with yours. Point in case. I was doing some work for a woman, and she had like 2 or 3 different colors. And, you know, if you set the cans next to each other, they just didn't look right, any of that. Put it all up. We put the room all back together, and you look around and it all worked.
Yeah.
You know, it just, I mean, with the pictures she had on the walls and the type of furniture she had, it was perfect. Another case, I opened up the can, and I was like, oh man, this is not the color I would choose, which is as far as my opinion goes.
Right.
Not one that I would choose. I put it up. Was home for a couple of hours, and I got a call from her saying, you need to come back tomorrow and paint over.
A couple of hours?
Yeah.
It didn't take long at all?
No. So I convinced her to wait overnight. I said, you know, look at it in the morning, you might sleep on it, in other words, you know. The next morning I got a call to come and paint over it.
Yeah.
She really didn't like it. And that was a color that a designer picked out for her. So, I mean, that was a professional who's good at that thing who picked it out for her, and she didn't like it. Which takes me back to my original point, go with your own opinion. My opinion shouldn't matter. You know, and I understand. I never envy the client picking colors. It is hard. There's like 150 different whites.
Right.
You know, it's just insane. So, you know, you get that analysis paralysis, and you just need somebody else to say, looks good, and then you're okay with it. But I can't do that.
You can say it looks good.
I tend to say it looks good, whether I think it does or not. So
Right.
what's that?
I guess you don't want anyone coming back and having someone say, "Oh, you said it looked good. Now look at it." Right. Now, being neutral is probably the way to go.
That's my way of going about it.
That makes sense.
Oh, also, and when you hire somebody, that doesn't mean your work is done. You still need to pick the color, you still need to pick the sheen, and you still have to communicate with your painter on what it is you expect them to do.
And so do you find people are hyper aware about things like colors in the news? Like, it's the new year, so everybody has a new color of the year, right?
No.
Is that on your radar?
I have not noticed that in Columbus, Ohio. Maybe in Manhattan, New York, or something. It might be more.
It's always in my real estate circles, right?
Yeah.
Last year the color here was like some lime green color.
Okay.
And this year it's a purple color I don't like. These are Pantone colors, but like every brand of paint has their own color of the year, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. That's kind of a marketing thing for that. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm always a little bit hyper aware of those sorts of things. You know, the predictions for 2018 are that white kitchens are out, natural wood stain grain is in, the grays are out, colors in, colors back, baby. What about wallpaper?
Hate it.
Do you have people asking you often to take down wallpaper and then paint that wall?
Yes, I've done that a number of times. I try to avoid those jobs if I can, because it's really an unknown quantity when you get into removing wallpaper. I've had jobs where it's just come off lickety split. I feel bad for what I charged to take it down, and then there have been times where
you made up for that.
Yeah, in a big way. So, you know, it's tough. I think if you hire somebody to take down wallpaper that isn't a professional wallpaper remover, which there are those out there.
Yeah. People
wonder how I get out of bed every day to go paint. I wonder how they get out of bed every day to go remove wallpaper, but they seem to like it. Wallpaper is tough, and it's good if you're flexible on the price with somebody. It's kind of unfair to lock them in on a price when the job turns out to be twice as long. And when I have done a job and it has gone super smooth, I usually cut the homeowner a deal.
Because you're a good, honest person.
I try to be.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've seen homes where people have just painted right over the wallpaper.
Yes. And that is not, do not do that if you can. It is a horrible, horrible thing. It's a cruel trick to play on the people down the road. Or even you in 10 years, when you get tired of seeing that seam. Every time you go into that room, you see those seams. Every, you know, what is it, 36 inches?
Yeah, they're there. Right, so we've mostly been talking about painting inside the house.
Right.
Tell me about painting the exterior of a house. And so the name of your company is Allterior.
It is.
So you do the interior and the exterior. We do all
Allteriors, yeah.
Excellent. Outside.
Outside's quite a bit different.
What changes?
A lot of height. A lot of height into it. You're out in the elements, which changes things a lot too.
Do you ever paint exteriors in winter?
I have taken it into well, just last year. I think I was doing my taxes recently. I found an invoice from like February that I did some exterior work.
February was an excruciatingly warm month of last year. It was great. I loved it.
It was
excruciatingly good weather.
Yeah. I mean, short sleeve weather. It was crazy. So it can be done. I never suggest that people do it. I mean, they have paints that go down to like 35 degrees, and they can be applied. To me, that's like on the edge. Like, wouldn't you rather have it done under the more optimal times rather than forcing your painter to be out there in 40-degree weather, you know, freezing, trying to put this stuff on? I understand there are certain circumstances when you have to do it, if the city's on you or something like that.
Showing the house next week,
sure.
On the market,
right? Yeah.
Got people porch.
Right. I understand there's extenuating circumstances, but for the most part, I would try to avoid it if I could. So you're out there in the elements, wind, rain. You know, if you see rain clouds coming in, you got to be ready to pack up and make sure that all the paint that you've laid up is dry. That can be a problem if it comes in. With latex, it's not too bad because usually when rain comes in, there's a little bit of wind pushing it, so that wind hitting it can dry it pretty quickly.
So are you always ultra aware of the forecast and exactly when the rain will get there?
Yeah. I've got, you know, on my phone some apps and stuff. But I've been calm still.
Sure.
Just last year.
And vice versa, probably, right?
Yeah. Well,
like,
there's nothing
everyone
worse.
says it's going to pour,
Yeah.
and you waste a day of not painting that you could have been painting.
Yeah. Yep. And I just sit there and I look out the window like every 10 minutes. Is it raining yet?
Right.
As soon as it starts raining, then I can relax and I can turn on the TV or do my computer work or whatever. But until it starts raining, I just fret. I should be there. I should be painting. But for the most part, do's and don'ts to exterior painting.
Yes.
Never put oil over latex.
Never put oil over latex.
Which
and whereas on the inside you're having conversations with sellers about the finish, the exterior, they pretty much leave it up to you, right?
for them, they listen to my opinion quite a bit. Yeah. I always give them the option, but usually we go with a low luster.
A low luster.
Low luster.
And that is a.
It's almost like a satin for an interior. It's got a little bit of shine to it. It sheds the water well. That shine helps it stay color rich. It doesn't fade out quite as well because it bounces the light back a little bit.
And that's oil or laser?
That's laser. And really, for the most part, there aren't very many oils.
Yeah.
It's mainly laser. But you can get oil primers and stuff like that. Speaking of, whenever...
Let's talk about primers.
If you're ever scraping down the exterior of a house and you have bare wood revealed, I always suggest going with a oil primer. Typically, a longer oil primer, one that needs to sit overnight before you can top coat it. You know, a long drying primer rather than a fast drying primer. It penetrates the wood better and just gives you a good base to build on.
say, so did you often find houses where, and we're talking about frame houses, I guess, where people have come and they did not scrape down? They painted layer after layer or not scrape down wood?
Well, it's hard to get layer over layer because it just fails so quick.
Right.
You know, you'll get that one coat on, it'll look great for like 6 weeks to 6 months, but then it'll just pop right off. It just gets pushed right off, and then you're back to square one with that. So a good oil primer on any bare wood. A low luster, typically, for the exterior. If you can solid stain the substrate rather than paint it, I always suggest doing that.
Say it again?
If you can solid stain it, put on a solid stain rather than a paint, I suggest people do that. That's used on like your shake siding and so forth.
How bad is that to paint?
Shake siding?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
In my mind, if I have a buyer who's interested in a house with shake siding, it's just the first thing I say is, that paint job.
It's really not that bad.
No?
No, I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's always been stained, because the prep is so much easier. Stain doesn't have the film buildup that paint does. When paint fails, they keep coming up with these paints that are supposed to last longer and longer.
Right.
What they should come up with is one that when it fails completely. Like the whole thing fails.
Yeah.
So almost like
I get that, yeah.
almost like your house would shed its skin like a snake or something. And it all comes off. Because the problem is once that first coat of paint fails, it never looks perfect again. It constantly has that what they call in the biz cabbaging, which is the layers.
Not oranging.
No, not orange. Not oranging or orange peel. Cabbaging. The places that hold are at one level. The places that fail down to the wood are at another level, and it just looks ragged. It looks shaggy.
Yeah, and you see that in many homes. And Clintonville is a great example of an area where there's a lot of wood frame homes that have lots of different levels of been painted well or not painted well.
Right.
So when you're scraping the exterior of a home, first of all, what a pain in the ass, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Is there a trick to it? Do you sand instead of scrape?
No, I found a good scraper with a sharp edge is your best. And something good on the head button.
Something good on the head.
It is.
So you probably listen to a lot of podcasts, huh?
A lot of podcasts, yes.
A lot of time out there. And you don't generally work with another painter.
No, I'm pretty much a solo guy. I have worked with other people, and although I like the people that I've worked with, I don't know if I necessarily like working with other people.
I understand. And that has a lot to do with?
What, me?
Sure. But I mean, because you want the job done right.
I want it done right, and I'm a little bit of a control focused, and when somebody that's working for me is on the other side of the house, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
I always envision they're over there having a cigarette. But,
sure.
But that's that's never been the case. But so it's more of an issue with me than the issue with the people that would work with me. Prepping is the worst part of any job, but it's 80% of the job. If you don't prep well, the job is not going to hold up. It'll look nice, like I said, for 6 months, and then it'll just fall apart. And then you're not really a professional painter. You're, more of a huckster,
Right. And certainly see it a lot.
If you get into painting for yourself, you just need to be mentally prepared as well as physically prepared with the equipment. You want to have your mind in the right place. And I think a lot of times people just kind of halfway do a paint job for themselves.
Sure.
They buy the cheapest equipment because they're like, we're going to use it once and then we'll never use it again. And they're like, "Well, just get it done Saturday afternoon. Are you done with it?" It's not the way you go about it.
So if there's one painting equipment tip you would give people, what's the most important thing to have this quality?
No plastic. No plastic drop cloth. No plastic paintbrush. Buy something with quality. It's not quality just because it'll hold up, but also because of the way it'll perform.
How does a regular Joe know it's quality? Does it cost more?
No. A brush should have a wood handle and be put out by a reputable company. Purdy, Worcester. Those are the two big ones.
And what should the brush? What should a brush be made of?
It will say on the little sleeve that it's in what paint it is used for. Most of my jobs are done with 2.5-inch angled bristles that are made for latex paint. They're all lined really nice. They'll wash up really nice, and that's the other thing. Once you buy these things, take care of them.
Because if it's cheap, you can throw it away, but if it's a quality brush, you can use it again and again.
Right. But even if it's cheap and you throw it away, it's not that cheap. You know?
Right.
I mean, you're still paying $4 or $5 for a brush. A cheap one that's not going to perform.
What's worse than having like one of the pieces of the bristle fall off into the paint?
Well, that'll happen even with a quality brush, but not very often.
Right.
So that would be the main thing I would suggest for the homeowner. But again, have your mind in the right place. Don't be hangry. Don't be time pressed. You know, have the game on in the background or something like that, and know that you're going to be putting in time doing something that you're not necessarily comfortable with. And if you have a bad time to it, or if you think back to a bad time that you did it, think about the things that went wrong and just try not to repeat them the next time.
Sure. That's good advice. Have you been called in to redo some other professional painter's job?
Yeah. Just this last summer, there was a guy working on a job, and he was spraying the interior, he was spraying the trim on the interior, and he was not shielding the stuff that wasn't supposed to be sprayed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, they had just had some tile laid into the bathroom, and he sprayed it like the trim, and he didn't shield or mask off the flooring, and it was all over the floor and stuff. Which on tile, and this was like a high gloss tile, ceramic tile, you know, take a razor blade and scrape it off easy enough, but that's not something that the homeowner wanted to do necessarily to their new tile. So I went in and took care of that, and he also hit a couple of places a little hard with the sprayer, so there were some sags and whatnot. What painters call, you know, drips, we call sags. So I was called in to take care of that. That was a big job this last summer.
Do you do much spraying yourself?
I do not.
Do you do any spray?
I do not. I have a spray rig, but I used it once. I didn't like it so much. I see a lot of people spraying exteriors, and you know, Columbus, we're in trouble enough with rain and inclement weather on exteriors.
That's happening.
We also get plenty of wind, and once you aerosol that paint, it will just carry for a long time. And I mean, I've seen people painting in Clintonville. You know, the houses are closed, the streets are close to the houses. I'm like, you just hit one person's fender with, you know, some of that paint lands on somebody's fender, and there goes any kind of profit margin on that job. Bad press, you know.
Sure.
And I don't think there's been one job I've seen paint sprayed that didn't have a window frame that got hit with the spray as well.
Oh yeah.
So,
in my mind, it's something you might do to a basement, like the cinder block wall.
yeah, right, yeah.
Because you don't care.
Right. And all the time it takes to go around and mask everything off, just brush it out.
And so let's talk about masking. Do you mask?
I do. My typical order of stuff, and now we're moving back to interior, is to paint the ceiling, then the trim if it's going to be painted, and then the wall. Once the trim's painted, and then I will cut in the baseboard and cut in the ceiling.
So by cutting, you mean?
By hand, drawing the line of wall paint to the baseboard.
Right.
Follow?
Yeah, you're not using a roller.
No.
You're using a brush. You're just cutting it in.
Cutting in the corners. So you end up with like the wall looks like a box.
Right.
And then once that paint is set up, you can go along and put tape on the baseboard, and then you can roll. And what I typically do is I'll roll as close to the ceiling as I can down and just touch the paper that is on the baseboard, and that way it gets a nice even texture of that orange hue.
Right. All right. So going back to exterior, people with aluminum or vinyl siding, oftentimes they think it can't be painted.
Oh no, it can definitely be painted. I've painted a gob of aluminum sided houses. I like painting aluminum sided houses. The prep work's a little bit different. You don't have to really scrape or anything, but the substrate should be washed. And by washed, I mean hand washed usually.
Is that right?
Yeah, I usually use a little bit of TSP, trisodium phosphate, mixed in with maybe a little bit of bleach. And just like an acid brush, not a real stiff brush, nice brush to get it washed down with. You'll want to wet the plants and so forth around where it's going to rinse down to, so that once it hits, it'll just wash right through. Then when you're done washing down that side of the house, you want to make sure you wet it real well to wash it through the soil, so you don't kill any flowers or bushes. And I would not power wash it. I have power washed before, and with that aluminum siding, you just go up and you wipe your hand on it, and you can see it's chopped off all over your hand. I've done that after I have power washed, so the power wash just does not knock it out. A good washing with an acid brush will take care of most of it. I mean, you can still probably go along and wipe and maybe get a little film of it. Then the first coat of product that you're going to put on is a high quality exterior paint with emulsibond additive. And this is an additive that is formulated to adhere through chalky surfaces. So any kind of chalk that's left after your wash, it'll bond to that aluminum through that. And the problem with the emulsibond is that it messes up the final sheen, so you don't get a nice even glow to it, with that low luster. And most of your aluminum can go with a low luster, because that's the look that aluminum has when it comes from the factory. So you usually have to go by and hit it a second time with just straight product after the first coat of emulsibond. And
vinyl?
And vinyl is a little bit different. Because vinyl, now I'm not a vinyl guy, I don't know much about it exactly, but I've done a couple of garages that have vinyl on them. And I always suggest to people that they don't change the tone of the color too much. If you go from a white vinyl to a dark blue vinyl or a dark brown vinyl, that darkness is going to absorb the heat from the sun differently than the white does. The white kind of blows it back. So that's going to cause that vinyl to heat up more, and it's going to stretch more.
Pro tip.
So once it stretches more, where the vinyl is overlapped or where it meets the corner, it's going to stretch and push, and then it's going to pull back. And over time of it doing that, it's going to end up pushing the new paint off, and you're going to end up with these little stripes.
Another stripes, yeah.
Yeah. Or worse than that is I am there on a nice sunny day painting it, so it's all stretched out, and then when you're done, you leave and it shrinks, it cools off, it shrinks down, you know, in the winter, it'll shrink down, and in the corners you'll have all these places where you can get these.
Which weren't there.
Which weren't there before. Another thing with aluminum and vinyl is after a big solid rain, you might want to wait an extra day or two, well, a day, for it to dry out, because those weep holes,
right,
a lot of times we'll be painting along and they'll, you know, just by your agitating it will cause them to drip, and that can be a little frustrating.
Sure. Right, so if people would like to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
Just give me a call. Allterior Painting. My number is 614-395-8378.
What is it again?
614-395-8378.
Is there a website that you can direct them to?
I don't have a painting website currently, but you can. I think I have an email. Allterior? No. Phone me. Leave a message if I don't answer. I'll get back to you.
Great. But then, so as an outcropping of your job as a professional painter, you came across an idea that you weren't finding existed in the marketplace.
This is true, yes.
And this goes back, I think you mentioned earlier something about courtesy.
Yes. Yes. What you should expect
and
from
being in people's homes.
What you should expect from a professional painter.
Right. What can you say about your side endeavor?
Okay. Well, much like doctors, professional tradespeople should have an oath of first do no harm.
First do no harm. I like that. Yeah.
And this was about 10 years ago when you and I were both very nervous because of how things had slowed down. I was thinking of any way that I could get an edge over my competition, because like I said, it's a crowded field with painters. And at that time, you know, all the new buildings had stopped. So all those guys who were used to being hired guys in the supply chain. So I was looking for any chance that I could to stand out from the other people, and I started noticing more and more people had shoe-free homes. So when I would go in there, I would look more like on-camera painter than off-camera painter. I would wear my best clothes and be exceptionally polite. And when I would go into their homes, I'd ask if they wanted me to remove my boots, because it had never really, to be honest with you, occurred to me before. But I started noticing more and more people were like, "Yes, would you please?"
And boots, I mean, that's part of your uniform.
That's part of my uniform. I feel funny showing up in tennis shoes, personally, because I work in boots and stuff, and I'm just more comfortable in boots when I go on the job.
Sure.
But boots are a pain to get on and put on, and not everybody has a nice bench in the foyer and stuff, so you're standing there trying to unlace your boots and so forth.
And then you're working in your socks.
And then you're walking around in your socks, which to me is a little weird. If you don't have to take your boots off, you don't have to worry about the shape your socks are in. You don't have to take your boots off, you don't have to worry about how your feet smell, perhaps. So I started wearing shoe covers. And what I was finding was the things that are on almost every shelf in a hardware store, the blue disposable shoe covers. They're glorified paper. I've had them, the elastic break before I've gotten them on. I've had them ripped before I've gotten them on. At the end of the day, every day you're throwing them out, and yes, they're only 25 cents, but you're throwing them out at the end of every day. So I came up with non-disposable, washable, easy on, easy off shoe cover.
Non-disposable, easy on, easy off shoe cover.
Shoe cover, much like this.
Let's see.
They come in a number of colors, shoe sizes. They're non-slip sole and a nylon upper. They're what I call water resistant, so in the weather like we have been having, you know, you go in, you walk from the drive up the sidewalk, you got snow all over your boots, you can put them in these, and, you know, water's going to come out. One time I was like downstairs in the basement at my wash basin, and I opened them up and I filled them up with water, and they filled up to over top, and, you know, there was a little bit of water leaking through these things.
I would call it water resistant.
Pretty water resistant. You know, I did that with the blue disposable ones in the water resistant.
Oh yeah, those So a tradesman would use these.
A tradesperson would use it.
A plumber,
painter, electrician,
a carpenter. Someone who's in other people's homes.
Yep, true.
What was the reception from the clients?
They like it. Everybody I've talked to about it, they say it's a great idea. So this is our official year of launching. It's called Shoe-In.
Shoe-In.
It's shoeincovers.com.
Shoeincovers.com. There you go. You find them. And these will last you much more than a day.
Oh my goodness, yes.
These will last you much more than a week. These will last months and months and months and months. And maybe if you use them every day, you might have to get a new pair after a while.
I say they'll last.
You can wash them and wash them.
You can wash them. They'll last a year. They will last a year.
It's a great investment.
Well, the nice thing about them, they're nice on a number of levels. You're not throwing stuff out in the trash every day.
Right.
You know, or in the landfill.
Yeah.
Not something that we
need.
Reuse,
recycle.
That's right. They're cheaper by $55 per man per year than the disposables.
Is that right?
It is.
So if you want a big outfit, you should especially consider.
One would assume. They're non-perishable, which sounds funny when you're talking about these, but like I said, I've had the elastic on, which is really just kind of a rubber band on the disposable one. It gets dried out and breaks. So what you do is, as a painter or a professional tradesperson, you think, all right, well, I know what I'll do. I'll just buy a box of 100 pair of these things, and I'll be good for a third of the year. They sit in the back of the truck in the hot weather, in the cold weather. That rubber band just gets dried out.
Sure.
So you find out that you can't use the last 20 pair because they break.
Right.
These, you can buy 3 pair of these for the price of a year's worth of disposal. So it's kind of a no-brainer. As far as I'm concerned. So I'm a little bit biased.
So you get this made where? China?
No, those are made right here in Columbus, Ohio.
Clintonville?
In Clintonville, Ohio.
You make these yourself in Clintonville, Ohio?
I do.
Shoeincovers.com. Right. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great product. I know several property management companies use them. I use them in my house. I really like it. It's a really good idea.
Not bad for homeowners who are tired of trained people who come in and don't wear even the disposable.
Yeah, I had a guy look at my furnace recently, and I actually have a pair of these in my furnace room because it's disgusting in there, and it's like old coal dust because it's a 120-year-old house. And he mucked up my carpet, something awful.
Really?
Yeah.
First, do no harm.
First, do no harm. All right, Christopher Kania, Allterior Painting, and shoeincovers.com. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.